Playing now?
It's 5.
Oh. In 1980, Dad and I were driving through Neshannock, and we came across a young man who was sitting on the side of the road with his bike turned upside down. Dad, of course, slowed down, and I turned to Dad and said, "Do you know him?" Dad said no, which was a shock because he knew everybody in Hillsborough. Dad said, "But it looks like he needs a hand, so let's give him a hand." So Dad pulled up to him and said, "Are you okay?" The young man said, "No, I have a flat tire and I'm miles from home." Dad said, "No problem, get in. We'll take care of you." And as soon as the young man got in the car, the conversation began. "What's your name? Where do you live? Where did you go to school? What sports did you play?" And of course, it turns out that Dad knew his parents, and he instantly made a connection with this young man. It seemed like they were best friends for 20 years. Soon enough, Dad pulled into his driveway, and he thanked Dad profusely. As we pulled away, Dad said something that we often heard come out of his mouth, and that was, "What a neat kid that was." Joe Thompson loved people. He always thought of others. He genuinely cared. He is the definition of a people person, a person who enjoys or is particularly good at interacting with others. Joe, Susie, and I did a lot of reflecting, laughing, and crying this week. One of our favorite memories that we all shared was the trip to the grocery store, which was very often. As you know, Joe loved food, and he loved his coupons. So it went like this. Prior to actually getting into the store, he would say, "Okay, let's make this quick. We're in and we're out." And then as soon as we entered the grocery store, it started. "Hey, Sam, how are you? Hey, Barb." And then another person would say, "How's Loie?" And this happened aisle after aisle after aisle. After about 45 minutes, we finally hit the cashier to check out. And Dad displayed his coupons. And yes, he knew the cashier too. But we didn't mind though. Dad always made it fun somehow. It is Joe Thompson we're talking about. Dad was able to instantly connect and bond with all he came into contact with and always created a good feel conversation. This was so easy for Dad because, as I said before, he genuinely cared about people. And the Woodfern Roadrunners, the students at Woodfern Elementary School, Dad made every kid feel like they were the most important person in the world, like they were superheroes. He made the kids laugh with his funny handshakes, elbow squeezes, card tricks, and little jokes that made the kids feel comfortable and happy at school. No wonder why they named him the kids' principal at Woodfern, and he loved every minute of it. Joe loved everyone, especially his family. Joe and his high school sweetheart, Loie, were two peas in a pod. Joe, Sue, and I also laughed about another Joe and Lo memory. Almost every night at dinner, Dad was usually quiet eating away. And after a while, we would notice Loie just staring right at Joe, and all the kids knew what was going to come. Then Loie would say, "Oh, Joe, please wipe your mouth." Dad would continue eating for about 20 seconds and would stare right back into Loie's eyes, and we would all burst out laughing, even Loie. In one way or another, they continued to teach us about patience and tolerance. They were so good together. We also laughed how it was looking like in heaven right now for the two high school sweethearts. We all agreed that it would sound like this. "Loie, we're going to be late for dinner. Joe, where are my glasses? I can't find my phone." And many more funny memories. Joe and Loie were a great team. We were so blessed to have parents who loved us so much. They projected love and empathy for all, and we will pass that forward to all in our lives.
As you've heard, Scott, Joe, and I have certainly been blessed with an incredibly amazing father
and mother too. There's no denying that. But they, in return, have been extremely blessed by so many other loving and supporting people outside of our family, like all of you listening today. You all made a huge impact in the lives of Joe and Lois Thompson, and we are sincerely grateful for all the love and kindness that you've showered our parents with over these past years. From Ridgewood and college friends to dear family friends in Hillsborough, New Jersey, to his awesome Woodford Elementary staff and students, to the fellow skiers, hikers, and neighbors in Keystone, to the Vero Beach Island Club, Grand Harbor Golf and Swim Club, and the First Presbyterian Church family. Every one of you has touched the lives of our parents. Thank you, Island Club friends, for especially rallying around him this past difficult year, whether it was helping with house projects or delivering hot meals or just someone to talk to at 6:30 a.m. You know who you are. You are always there for a helping hand. A special thank you out to Brother Bobby and Diana for all their love and support. You have always been by his side with hot meals, a helping hand, here to talk with, showering him with brotherly love whenever he needed anything. Also, Carol Himes, we give a special thank you as well. My mom's sister, who has always been there also in the good and bad times too. Thank you so much, Aunt Carrie, for always being there for my parents. We truly appreciate you all. Yes, we are extremely sad for this devastating loss of our amazing father and mother. We miss them so much already, but their memories will live in our hearts forever. And we know God's plans are always good for those who place their trust in Him. We believe all those who call on the name of the Lord will be saved. So we know Joe and Loie, aka Grandy and Poppy, are in the presence of God as we speak. And because of that, we have peace and confidence, knowing for sure that we will see them again.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe Carriage and I was lucky enough to have Poppy as one of my grandfathers. Reflecting back this week, I wanted to share some of the many things I learned from him, and I'll try to keep it short. Number one, he taught me to work as hard as I can in everything that I do. He would always pull me aside before soccer games and say, Joe, I don't know much about soccer, but go for the juggler, man, go for the juggler. The second thing I learned from him is to love everyone first. As Scott said, he was kind and he would go out of his way to make the people around him smile. I remember driving down some random neighborhood in Colorado, windows down, big smile on his face, and everyone that passed, hi there, how's it going? And I would ask him, do you know them? And he's like, no, I have no idea who they are. And number three, as anyone can attest, or that anyone that has been around Poppy and Grandy can attest, he taught me to love a wife above yourself and all others, in sickness and in health. Poppy was a great man and a great role model. I will work as hard as I can to mirror my life after his, and I can't wait to see him again.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt, also a grandchild of Poppy. I'd like to tell a quick story about Poppy, and for those of you who don't know, that's what us grandchildren refer to him as. Poppy loved watching all of his grandchildren grow up, particularly in sports, and always supported us growing up, all the way to college. He loved his trips out to visit my sister in California, watch some soccer, try to meet everyone on USC's campus, regardless of knowing my sister or not. Also loved coming to Nashville, watching me and my brother play soccer together there. And a particular story popped up into my head when reflecting this week on Poppy. It was about at one of our games. One of my friends came up to introduce himself to my grandpa. He knew he was at the game, thinking it was going to be a 2-second ordeal. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Turned into a 90-minute conversation about how he's doing, how the family was. By the end of the game, they were all hugging each other and celebrating when the goals were scored. It seemed like my friend and Poppy were best friends, although they just met in reality that night. After the game, he came up to me and he said, I think your grandfather and me are best friends. I'm not knowing even that they watched the game together, but that's the type of person Poppy was. And he had a lasting effect on everyone who he came in contact with. And to this day, my friend still talks about that story. Because again, what Scott said, he truly cared about people, and that's rare in life. So on behalf of all the grandchildren, I just want to say, thank you to Poppy. Thank you for being a role model. Thank you for all the life lessons you taught us along the way. Thank you for not only telling us how to treat others, but in fact showing us how to treat others. Thank you for being a great grandfather to all of us grandchildren. And to the point of caring, I think the best example of this is the way that the last 2 years have gone. With his health declining and in dire need of attention, he spent 100% of his time focusing and caring for Grandy. So us grandchildren will all miss you and Grandy very deeply. But no, you're in a better place feasting up in heaven with Grandy, free from all your ailments. So all we can do is live on your legacy until we meet again.
On behalf of our family, thank you all for celebrating Joe's life, my dad's life, and he got tremendous support from everybody, family and outside the family, and we just appreciate it so much. And if you're interested in making contributions, it could be made to Plowshare Farms in his name, and the information's both on the brochure that was handed out and on the websites. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.